Alright guys, so let's go on a little trip.
When we set out to create our dream sailboat, we had one goal in mind: off-grid life. We craved the freedom to navigate the open waters at our whim without relying on land-based support. This is Luke, and I'm Lori, and we're restoring an abandoned sailboat in Brazil with a dream to one day sail it around the world. And if you're curious to see if we can do it, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and ring that bell. It's a totally free way to keep the journey alive.
This is one of my least favorite activities to do each week. We have always rented apartments, and as a penalty of that, we don't have a proper filtration system in this apartment right now, and it's really not worth installing it. So we're gonna go buy some water, and we're taking you with us. We decided that when we started this project, we definitely wanted to eliminate certain activities. Number one, paying rent. We definitely wanted to create a situation where we were not going to be paying rent. As you know, rent is just kind of throwing money away or just giving money to somebody else, and then all of your hard-earned income isn't going to you and doesn't really provide you all the things that you would like to do in your life. And one of our things that we want to do is travel. We really love traveling. We want to see the world. We wanted to do other things and see other cultures. And if we're spending money on rent, then we're not going to be able to do that, right? So we wanted to create this boat to, eliminate two birds with one stone. We wanted to be able to have all of the travel that we wanted and also have our home with us. And that's a lot of the reasons why people come up with van life, to lower costs and have your own home, because let's face it, buying a home these days is not cheap, right? When we started doing research on what is important for basically off-grid living on a sailboat, the number one thing is water. Obviously, it is the essential part of life, and it also kind of a pain in the butt. You gotta go, you gotta buy the water, you gotta trek it back, you have to ration it to make sure you have enough. It limits where you're going, how long you're going. So this is top of our list on what to do as far as creating an off-grid life situation. And that brought us to getting a water maker. I really hate buying water every single week. Like I said, we don't have a proper filter in our house. There are like basic filters that you can buy, but the water here is not recommended to drink out of the tap even with a basic filter. So we're buying water. Obviously that's not really great for the environment. All this plastic that we have in the boat, it's going to get even worse too, because how do we throw all of this plastic away? We're going to have to be able to go to land and dispose of it. The worst part is the costs. We try to buy something that's on sale all the time, but eventually this adds up, because this is essentially, there's really no getting around how much water you drink. Now imagine taking this on the sailboat. Eliminate this wonderful process, because think about it, it's going to be even worse trying to trek all of this things onto the boat. We are going to have a water maker. Now, we can't eliminate things like groceries, but we can definitely eliminate carrying around bottles like this or larger, which is not fun at all. Let's go. All right, so you might be thinking, what is a water maker and how in the world can we possibly make water?
Unlike traditional water filters that you're familiar with that remove impurities and contaminants from fresh water like your sink, water makers or desalination units are machines that use reverse osmosis to purify salt water or brackish water into water that's safe for drinking. Have you ever heard of that famous quote, "Water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink"? That's right, you could be surrounded by water, but there is nothing drinkable about the ocean, and that's where a water maker comes in. So how do they do that? Yeah, but does it have to be like above?
There's no instruction about this.
Maybe you're thinking, what is this reverse osmosis that you're speaking of? Well, we had to do some research on it too to know exactly how this water maker works.
Well, reverse osmosis is like the gold standard of water purification. It's all about using a special membrane. Think of it like a super fine filter that only lets water molecules pass through. All the other stuff, like salt and impurities, get left behind. Regular filtering, on the other hand, is a bit more basic. It's like using a strainer to catch the big stuff. Heavy metals, sand and particles, chlorine, even smells. Here's the kicker. Regular filtering isn't as picky. Some smaller impurities might slip through the cracks, so to speak, leaving the water cleaner, but not quite as pure as reverse osmosis.
And how exactly does a water maker work? Well, let me tell you.
Let's make some water on our sailboat. To kick off the process, ocean water is drawn in through a through hull located below the water line on the hull. It proceeds through a diverter valve, redirecting the seawater and passing it through a seawater strainer to filter out any debris. Following this, the water travels through a boost pump, which applies pressure to the system. This is essential for systems that are not below the waterline, as it ensures that the flow rate is always high enough not to starve your high-pressure pump of water. The boosted water then passes through a one-way valve and enters a sequence of filters. Starting with a 20 micron filter that removes larger particles, followed by a 5 micron filter that eliminates even smaller ones. Once that's complete, the water is sent into the high-pressure pump. Our pump is going to be located in our machine room in the stern, therefore we have to have a hose directing the water aft and then returning it forward. The pump will pressurize the system up to 700 psi. After that, the high pressure water enters the membrane phase. And this is where the water is purified by preventing any of those tiny salt and mineral particles from passing through. We purchased the option with 2 filters, and that will clean up to 40 gallons per hour. The system allows for adjustments to control the pressure and monitor the quality of the water. The gauges can be purchased individually or in a panel they call a remote. Before you direct the water to your tanks, though, you're going to want to check it first. The initial water could contain some residue. If there is still remaining brine water, which contains high concentrations of salt and minerals, it needs to be discharged out of the boat and not collected. The idea is to test the water quality so you don't contaminate your tanks. Once the water finally reaches the desired level of purity, it can be directed into the freshwater tanks, thereby completing the freshwater production process. At this point, the clean water has a valve that allows it to be pumped back into the system in order to keep the membranes hydrated. This little device here creates a schedule that does this automatically so you don't have to worry about it. You also have the option of taking on shore water. Let's say that the surrounding waters aren't as clean and you don't want to dirty your filters. In order to do that, the water must pass through this carbon filter to remove anything that can harm your system, like chlorine. And that's it. That's how fresh water is produced using our water maker. In theory, we still have to put it all together and test it out.
All right, so should you run out and get one for yourself? I would say wait, because there's a few factors I think you should consider before deciding if it's something for you. First off, price tag.
Yeah.
It is very expensive.
Very expensive. Is
It's not too practical.
Yeah, it's not something super easy, especially when coming to the installation, which is something that we're dealing with right now. But let's say you are just staying around the coast, you're going on short trips, you don't,
Marina.
yeah, you live in a marina, you don't live on your boat perhaps, then I think it's a little bit overkill and the cost might not really compensate for all of it. Like I said, we're dealing with the installation right now. The company that we did buy it from has, as of now, a plug and play option. And plug and play meaning it's just one big unit where you just plug it into the pipes and then boom, 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 you're done. You don't have to go through this whole assembling of all the pieces, which we really wish we had gotten. I think that the added cost would have been totally worth it because we're building a whole entire boat. And there's just so much decision making and so much time that goes into that. And the extra cost, I think, would have been worth a little less things to decide on and think about. And we wish that option was available back then. We did buy ours, and we did also not opt for the control panel.
Yeah, it's another.
Yeah, we decided to get cheap.
Mistake.
And we wish we got the control panel because now we're trying to navigate where do we put all of these controls, because for us they need to be in a centralized location, which the remote control panel would have solved that problem. So what does that mean for us now? Well, we are trying to install all of the things into one consolidated area. We're trying to use the least amount of space possible despite having all of the large membranes and all of these different filters all over the place. We're trying to really pack it into the back of our settee as best we can. And after that, we're going to be doing the plumbing once we finish the interior and installing it and after testing it. So check out what we've done so far and then tune in soon because we will be plugging this in and giving you our best review on how this device works. So if you like this, like I said, we're not sponsored, but if you want to see more about the one that we purchased and also the plug and play option, which we highly recommend, check with the panel. Oh, we recommend the panel. So check out the link below. It's an affiliate link. So we do get a little help for our channel when you do click there. So please check it out, help us out. And if you want more information about about our decision making on buying this particular water maker or any other details that we're doing on our project, because we do weekly updates on more particular things that we are working on, check out our Patreon. We also do daily updates and pictures in our chat on our Patreon, so check it out there. Anyone who comes and helps us and signs up also helps our channel and helps keep this journey alive. So we hope to see you there, and we hope you like all of the details and participate and let us know everything that you're thinking or any suggestions that you might have there as well. So
See you soon. Bye.
thanks, and we'll see you next week.